If you've ever felt stuck in the mental health system or know someone who has, then you know how frustrating it can be. Well, today we're going to talk about a new way forward. It's a structured pathway that's actually designed with lived experience right at its heart, offering a real shot at stabilizing, healing, and truly rebuilding. So let's dive in and see what this new path is all about. You see, for so many people, the current system is just a revolving door. You know the drill, right? You cycle through emergency rooms, maybe even jail, brief hospital stays, and then you're right back where you started. There's no long-term stability in sight. It's a pattern that, frankly, just doesn't work. And this quote from TT just perfectly captures the human side of that cycle. That feeling of hopelessness is so real. He's saying that after getting out of jail, faith wasn't enough. He needed action, a real plan, a structure that could give him hope for a brighter day. And that feeling of hopelessness is where so many of these stories begin. Which brings up a really important question. Why? Why does the system so often wait for everything to completely fall apart? Why do families have to watch someone they love spiral until they're considered an imminent danger before any real help can even start? The problem, it turns out, is kind of baked into the system itself. And here is a huge piece of that puzzle. A lot of the time, the answer is a condition called anosognosia. Now, what's so important to understand here is that this is not someone being stubborn or in denial. It's a neurological thing, like a literal blind spot in the brain that can make it biologically impossible for a person to realize that they're sick. And this is so crucial. I really want this to sink in. If you've ever struggled with this, if you've ever had trouble seeing that you needed help, you are not difficult. Your brain is just working differently in those moments. This isn't some kind of character flaw. It's a medical reality. And any system of care that's going to work has to get that. And you know what? Understanding that one thing changes everything. It means we can finally build a new path. Instead of waiting for the whole house to be on fire, we can start helping at the first smell of smoke. This is where we shift from a broken system to an actual blueprint for healing. And this slide just lays it all out, side by side. On the left, you've got that old, reactive system. It waits for danger, and all that leads to is more trauma. But on the right, that's the proactive approach. It intervenes based on medical science, which allows for help to start early and actually builds a real foundation for stability. It's a total game changer. But this new approach isn't just about doing things differently. It's about a whole different philosophy. Because at the very center of this new model is the belief that your rights, your dignity, and your voice, they aren't optional. They are the non-negotiable foundation of all care. And we're not talking about suggestions here. These are your fundamental rights. The right to be treated like a human being with dignity and respect. The right to care that understands trauma. The right to ask questions and actually be part of the decisions. And this one's huge. The right to not be judged for your symptoms, for relapse, or for having challenges with insight. You don't have to be a perfect patient. You just have to be you. Okay, so with that foundation of rights firmly in place, let's actually walk through the model itself. Now, don't think of this as some rigid checklist. Think of it more like a supportive, structured pathway that's designed to help you heal and rebuild your life at a pace that actually works for you. So, here it is, the whole roadmap. As you can see, this isn't a quick fix. It's a comprehensive, multi-year process. It's not a punishment, it's a long-term commitment to your well-being, designed to build stability that actually lasts. So let's break down each of these phases. Everything starts with phase 1. Acute inpatient stabilization. The main goal here is pretty simple: create a safe space. Think of it as a sanctuary where you can just rest, get 24/7 compassionate support, and start the medical care that helps calm things down. It's that essential first step to just catch your breath and find your footing again. From there, you move into phase 2, which is residential stabilization. Here, the focus shifts to building a really solid foundation for recovery. This is where you get into stabilizing daily routines, you engage in therapy that makes sense for you, and you connect with peers who actually get what you're going through. And it's all done in a structured way that respects your own pace. Next up is phase 3, Integrated Transitional Living. And this is where things get really exciting, because this is where you start to actively rebuild. You're practicing independence, but you still have a strong support system right there with you. The team helps with everything from life skills to job training, making sure you're not just getting stable, you're building a life that feels meaningful. Phase 4 is like this amazing bridge back into the community. It's called mobile aftercare, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of you having to go somewhere, a dedicated team comes to you. They do home visits, they help you navigate things like housing, employment, and just the regular challenges of daily life, making sure that stability you worked so hard for sticks. And finally, there's phase 5, the ongoing treatment team. This part recognizes a really basic truth. Recovery isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a journey. So this phase is like your long-term wellness partnership. It makes sure that professional support and peer support are always there for you, helping you navigate whatever life throws your way with confidence. Now, just stabilizing and rebuilding your life is, by itself, an incredible accomplishment. But this model sees an even bigger potential in your journey. It sees a path from lived experience all the way to leadership, where your story becomes this incredibly powerful force for change. Just think about that for a second. What if everything you've been through, the struggles, the breakthroughs, the healing, what if all of that could become a light for someone who's standing right where you used to be? That's the whole idea behind peer advocacy. I mean, it's just different when the person talking has actually walked the walk. Peer advocates are so valuable because they are living, breathing proof that recovery is possible. They have an insight you just can't get from a textbook. And their stories, they have the power to connect with people who feel totally alone, and they can even change policy. And becoming an advocate isn't some impossible goal. You don't have to be perfect. Once you're stable, say through phase 3 or beyond, all you really need is that desire to help other people. From there, your team can help you find training and opportunities to share your story whenever you feel ready. Let this one really sink in. As we work to change our mental health care system to make it proactive instead of reactive, compassionate instead of judgmental, your voice, the voice of lived experience, it isn't just a nice little extra. It is absolutely necessary. So, let's end on this thought. This pathway isn't just about recovering. It's about empowering you to become a leader. It reframes recovery not as the end of the story, but as the beginning of a whole new chapter of purpose and impact. So the only question left is, how are you going to use your voice?